Welcome. My name is Trapper Mitchell, and I am the director of the Career and Professional Development Office here at UW-Platteville. And I'm excited to welcome you all to this week's Career Trek. We are happy to have Jessica Pulfer from Colony Brands join us today. So just a couple of housekeeping things to go over really quick, and then I'm going to let the star of the show take over. Just a couple of things I want you to know is in the chat, I'm going to be putting a link for all the students to register their attendance. So this is how we can capture who is here. So be sure you do that before you leave. I'll be putting that in the chat periodically today. If you have any questions during the presentation, just go ahead and put them in the chat. I'll be monitoring those. And if we have time at the end of the session, I will ask our presenter some of the questions that you all have mentioned. So in case you don't know, Career Treks is a University of Wisconsin system-wide initiative that is going not only this fall, but also this coming spring semester. The UW system president, Tommy Thompson, was really excited to hear about this and put out a nice press release about this event. So we're really happy that you all have joined us today. And next week, we do have another track, and that is with Acuity, and that is hosted by UW Green Bay. So another great organization to learn about. Again, make sure that you do register your attendance so that we can make sure we credit if you are entitled to that for class. So without further ado, I am going to turn it over to Jessica.
All right, thank you, Trapper. Good afternoon, everybody. So I thought I'd just start with a quick introduction about myself before we dive into some company information. My name is Jessica Pulfer. I am the Talent Acquisition Manager at Colony Brands. So what that means in layman's terms is I am responsible for our full-time recruitment. I'm also responsible for any of our talent development programs. So that includes our internship program, our co-ops, our career exploration, the Career Expo that typically happens with high school seniors in the spring. When there's not a pandemic going on, we invite all of them to come in. I also oversee our corporate branding from that perspective. And so that flows out to all of our social media pages. So looking at and approving what goes on our Facebook and our LinkedIn pages, all of that. And then I also head up our diversity and inclusion efforts. So that covers most of it. And I've been with Colony Brands now for 5.5 years. I've worked in human resources for a little over 15 years. It's just a little background. And before we dive more into some of the company specific information that you guys are interested in, I do have a short video that I wanted to show you just as a quick intro. It's just about 5 minutes long. So Trapper, if you could start that, that'd be great.
Hi, I'm Tim Wolf, Vice President of Human Resources. At Colony Brands, we're lucky to have incredible people who care deeply about our customers, each other, and our business. This commitment reflects our core values in every way. Whenever I think of our core values, the thing that sticks with me the most is that these values aren't just things we hope to do someday, they're just how we roll, day in and day out. Generously supporting our employees and communities, always striving to improve, innovate, and create, relentlessly going after the pursuit of excellence, and passionately valuing our customers. This is what we're all about at Colony Brands, always working hard to be the best we can be in everything we do. We are fortunate to have a culture grounded in entrepreneurial spirit that dates back to our founding in 1926. Ray Coobley was a senior at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. He turned a marketing class project into what is today one of the largest and most profitable direct-to-consumer retailers in the United States. Our 10 multi-channel retail brands, numerous operational support companies, and a multifaceted portfolio of client businesses offer diverse opportunities for our employees to excel and take us to the next level. Almost 80% of the business units we have today at Colony Brands had yet to be developed a few short decades ago. We don't rest on our laurels here. We always are working towards improving our playbook. Our purpose at Colony Brands is to empower people to enrich lives for our customers, our employees, and our communities. We don't sit idle and wait for things to come to us. Our world is always changing, and we want to be part of the change and empower others to do the same. My own career at Colony Brands started with an internship in our safety department. I've been very fortunate to have several opportunities for growth since my days as an intern, as have many others. To tell you more about how we empower students through our programs, next you'll hear from another former intern who is now responsible for leading and executing our great internship program.
Hi, I'm Rudy Folk, Senior Talent Acquisition Specialist. Building on our culture, our student programs serve two roles. First, to develop our workforce, and second, to enrich your education and empower your career. Our co-op program primarily offers high school students the opportunity to earn money while learning about our culture and the career opportunities available at Colony Brands. Co-op students work in a variety of departments throughout the company. In addition to gaining work experience while attending school, all co-op students who complete the program are awarded a scholarship. For students seeking summer employment, the Career Exploration Program offers a full-time position while allowing students to explore various facets of the business one day a week. These weekly exploration days help them gain an understanding of the many diverse jobs we have available, from food science to apparel design and human resources to IT. Similar to the co-op program, students that complete the Career Exploration Program are also awarded a scholarship. The Internship Program is the most significant of our student programs. It was established over 30 years ago, and hundreds of students have completed internships with us. Our internships provide students with hands-on experience and significant responsibilities, giving them great resume value and industry insight as they start their career. We believe it's also important to offer students far more than just a job. In addition to receiving a competitive wage, our interns are also offered numerous benefits to support them during their time with us, such as additional workplace training to help support their transition from college to career on everything from emotional intelligence to workplace communication, gym memberships at our local YMCA. Interns get to enjoy our casual dress code and take advantage of our product discount program. We also recognize that we all need a little downtime now and then, so our interns enjoy some paid time off during their internship. Staying true to our corporate core values to provide support and promote volunteerism in our communities, our interns participate in more than 500 hours of regularly scheduled service and social events each year. These activities provide meaningful and purposeful community engagement that allows students to socialize and build connections with one another. The majority of our internships are 6-month commitments, bringing even more value to these opportunities. In recent years, we have averaged over 70 interns each year and receive over 1,800 student applications for these positions. The success and popularity of our student programs is rooted in our culture and core values. We hope you'll consider Colony Brands as you look for new opportunities. More importantly, we hope you'll continue to seek opportunities to enrich your education and empower yourself as you take the next steps in your career.
All right, so I will jump in and follow up. I do have a favor for those of you that are willing and able to, if you could share your screens, that is super helpful to me. It's a lot easier to talk to some faces than just a lot of black boxes with your names. So I appreciate the feedback. So thank you in advance. A couple of things that I'll touch on that were covered in the video. One, we have a big anniversary coming up next year. We'll be celebrating 95 years in business. And, that's pretty cool. It's exciting for us. It speaks to the success of the business. And I think we've got a lot of stability that comes from the diversity of the business. So you had seen some of the different companies scroll by there. Today, there are over 20 companies that make up Colony Brands between our subsidiaries, affiliates, in those groups. So that it gives us, I think, some leverage with that diversity and leads to a lot of opportunities within the company. So today with those companies, we have over 72 different departments. So that means lots of different opportunities for lots of different types of people with different interests, different degrees, different backgrounds. Just as an example, in the last 2 weeks, I've hired a general manager for our global sourcing office in Shanghai, China, a senior marketing specialist in Monroe, a supervisor for our groundskeeping group, and an aircraft mechanic. Right. So people often ask what my favorite part of my job is, and it is that diversity, right? In my job, my to-dos, but also just the different types of people that I get to work with and talk to. So that I think what that can mean for you and for a lot of our employees is opportunities within the business, and that you don't have to necessarily go to a different company, go to and change jobs or relocate in order to get different opportunities. So one example I can give you is Tim Wolf started at the beginning of that, and he said he started as a safety intern, and today he's our vice president of human resources. But some other roles that he's had in between, one was in merchandising for women's shoes. And he jokes that he knows more about women's shoes than just about any man that you're ever going to meet because of that role, right? And Rudy Folk, who is an assistant on my team, our specialist that heads up a lot of the internships, she did an internship in HR. But she also worked with our merchandising department and has been and served in some marketing roles as well. She's had five different positions in her 7 years with Colony Brands. And what I will say is those stories are not uncommon. And that's what I think is really one of the great things about coming on board. Specific to some of the things that you guys are probably looking for with internships, or the diversity of internships. So we mentioned over 70. Right now for 2021, we have 73 internships that are approved in everything from data analytics to merchandising to HR, IT, programming, and operations, and for food scientists. So there are a lot of different opportunities there with all of those different roles. And for us, a lot of people ask, what's the best way to get my foot into the door for a full-time position? And that's really through our part-time roles or our other student programs. So every year, over 90% of our roles over the last 10 years that are entry level have been filled from our internship program or from people that are working part-time for us that are moved into a full-time position. So I think that one speaks well to the success of the internship program. And one thing for you all to keep in mind, regardless of where you intern at, whether it's with Colony Brands or one of our affiliates or someplace else, is yes, part of what we're doing through that internship is giving students the opportunity to learn and to grow. And that's a big focus, but you're also being evaluated for your skills and your potential fit for a full-time role. But it works two ways. You should also be evaluating the employers where you're at as you do your internship. If they're a good fit, not just from the skills of the job that you need, but if they're a good fit for the type of place that you want to work long term. So, and we the vast majority of our offers are accepted. I'm trying to think of one that wasn't the last few years, and I think that speaks well to the culture and just making sure that it is a two-way fit. And then long term, as a company, we have very low turnover for our full-time employees. That's something that we're really proud of. We do operate in different industries, but for operations and manufacturing, our turnover rate is less than half of what is considered normal in those industries. For retail, our turnover rate for employees is about a quarter of what is normal in those industries. So I think that speaks to the company and the culture and the opportunities, again, that people have to move into different roles and to do different things within the company without having to leave. So that is a quick synopsis. I want to make sure that we have plenty of time to answer any questions and address what you all are looking for when you came to this career track. So I wanted to go ahead and open it up for questions.
Yeah, absolutely. Please drop those in the chat, and I will. I'll let Jessica know what you're curious about.
So a couple of things, I'll just talk while we're waiting for questions for our internship program. So a few of the benefits were noted on there for our interns with time off, additional training. So we do bring all of our interns together for a lot of training. For Trapper, I think I saw on your signature, the colors training. So all of our interns do get colors training. We also speak to like workplace communication and Excel and a number of things that we think students are going to be able to use regardless of the role that they're in at Colony Brands or where they're going in the future. Our pay for internships, that's a common question. This year for 2021, the minimum is $16.50 per hour. This year we do have people that are making over $4,000 a month salaried in their internship role. So our average for 2020 is a little over $3,800 a month. You know, and I think that's great. And that's because our interns, not only are we getting, are they getting value in learning, but we're getting value as a company. And so we want to reward that with some time off as well. So that's a big benefit to students. And then one thing that parents like that wasn't mentioned on there is we do have a wellness center in Monroe and in our Clinton facility. So what that means is our physician's assistants, our exercise physiologists, we have a behavioral specialist. All of those things are 100% free for all employees to use. So for people that are relocating, that can make mom and dad feel better when you're away from home, that it's easy for you to get in and see somebody and if needed. So,
Great. We have a few questions that have come in. They're somewhat related. How does the application process work for an internship at Colony Brands? And would you be able to apply to a certain department?
I didn't hear the very last part of your question.
Sure. Would you be able to apply to a certain department?
Yes. Okay, so for all internships are posted online at our careers site, and you can find that at colonybrands.com/careers. So if you go there, all of our positions, when we have openings, are listed there. And actually, all of our internships for 2021 are up right now for the summer and fall. Our spring internships have already been filled that start in January. But they're all there. It's a quick application process. It takes less than 10 minutes, and I think the average is right around 6 minutes to complete an application. From there, resumes will be reviewed, look at that, and then contact people for phone screens and then additional interviews. So you do apply to a specific internship and within a specific department. So sometimes students ask, does it look bad if I apply for a lot? Like I don't really want this one. And no, it doesn't. I would encourage you, if there are any that you're interested in, to apply to any of them that you're interested in, because how it works, so we're big enough that we don't have one person looking at all of those applications, right? So we want to make sure if you're interested in any of those roles, that you're applying for all of them. Now we can see on the back end that you've applied for multiple, and we'll keep in touch if we get to the point where an offer is going to potentially be made. So.
Great. So what sets those interns apart that you select versus the 1,700 that apply? Like what catches your eye?
Yeah, so, and that number is actually a little outdated. For 2020, we had over 2,000 applications. And I tell students that, and we mentioned that, one, we're proud of that, right? That we get that many applications, but it's not to discourage any of you from it. But I tell students, regardless of where they apply, there are a lot of students applying, so get in early and showcase yourself well. So some of the things that we see are resumes that are well thought out. And that showcase you personally, versus some that are very generic, and you can tell they're generic and not a lot of time has been put into them. And same with cover letters. When I read a cover letter, I want to be able to learn a little bit about you and what you're looking for and looking to do with your career. If I get done reading it and I feel like, oh, this was just general, like I'm a good student and I want to come work for you, it feels almost like I wasted my time reading that, right? The whole purpose of a cover letter and the resume is to showcase the very best parts of you. So be sure that you do that. And then in the resumes, I always encourage people to phrase everything that you can, instead of job task or to-dos, as accomplishments, and quantify where you can, right? If you do something, you can quantify it, do that. And so an example would be like, a lot of high school students and college students are in customer service roles, right? So you ensured customer satisfaction by doing X, Y, Z. right? Or if you're going to say you work well with others, how do you do that? And the same in interviews. So when students come in, the students that interview the best are the ones that can tell us, they'll make statements and they back them up, and not with a whole novel. But if you're going to tell me that you're a hard worker, or you're adaptable, or detail oriented, or any of those things, give me 1 to 3 quick examples that showcase that. So one, I'll say for myself, I tell people I'm adaptable, right? And I can give examples in my work for having served in sales roles in different positions. I've actually attended 19 different schools growing up, was still a good student, and didn't become one that kind of fell off the wagon. There are examples in your personal and your work and your school life that should showcase all of those things that you say that you are. So just being able to give, a couple of quick examples to those. And then regardless of the position, so there are going to be different skills and different backgrounds for each internship, but some things that are across the board is we look for curiosity and a strong desire to learn, right? And showcase that, because the internship, the focus is for you to learn and get as much out of it as possible. So if you're somebody that doesn't showcase that desire, or sits back more and seems like, yep, I'm doing it because I have to, right? It's probably not going to be the person that gets selected for that role. If we have people, and that's for our employees too, we really look for people that are curious and want to continue to learn, whether they've been in their career for 6 months or 6 or 16 years or longer. And then the other thing that we look for are people that are striving to get better. We have 2 values around that, right? And continuous improvement. So what are you doing to improve yourself, your skills, your knowledge? And what can you showcase? And there are some examples, right, of people that go to work and they just do their job. And there are people that go to work and they try to make it a little bit better, or try to add value there. So those are some things that we look for. And then the third is people that are genuinely friendly, nice, going to get along well with others. That's one thing. If you guys, we hire a lot from UW schools. One thing that and I just got surveys back from 2020 that it's pretty common comment is students say, people are so nice and my supervisor is super helpful. We're really proud of our culture. And so we want people that are going to help enhance the culture, not people that we're going to have to worry about how they interact with one another. Right. So those are the 3 things that we look for across the board in all positions.
Great. So here's a question. Do you have to have or be in a major that is closely related to the position you're applying for?
So we say related, and we put some examples out there, but it doesn't have to be exact in the internship, because there is so much crossover. And I'll throw a stat out here for you guys that I recently read from Career Builder that said that working adults that are in non professional roles where it's required, so like a law degree for an attorney or a medical license for a doctor, but all other positions for people that have 4-year degrees, only 27% of those actually work in a position that is directly related to their degree. And I'm one of those. My undergrad is in history and government. I have a minor in international relations. And then I went to law school at Marquette, and now I work in human resources. Okay. So, and you'll find that. So we do look for some crossover, and in some of our positions, and I shouldn't just say so, all of our positions, the people that work there, they're all working with other departments, and there's crossover. And so there are skills to leverage between all of those different groups. So.
Great. Yeah. I know this was touched on a little bit in the video, but I was hoping maybe you could expand on it just a little bit. How long do internships typically take place? And maybe talk a little bit more about the opportunity to move to full-time positions after an internship.
Okay. So our internships typically are 6 months in length, and that's over 90% of them are 6 months. So they do require students to take a semester off of school, although we do have a lot of students that will take 1 class, sometimes 2 virtually, and do that online. We encourage students not to take more than that, because you are working a full-time job in addition to your coursework, and we want to make sure that you can do your best at both. We do have, and you'll see a couple outlined, we do have a few summer only, but the reason why we do 6 months, and I know in the vernacular colleges are called co-ops. We don't call them that because we had a high school co-op program first that started for high school students. And they actually are year-long co-ops for high school students in different positions. But we found that it's much more valuable for students. And we've even found our engagement and our satisfaction scores from students that do 3-month internships versus 6 months are much higher in the 6 months across the board. It's because the projects that they can get involved in, the work that you can do is much more in depth, more engaging. We can give you more substantial work and projects that are more interesting, right? More fun because you've got some more time after, the first month of training on what's going on to really dive into some of those things. So, and as far as full-time openings, it depends on what's open at the time, right? We don't have a certain number that are hired every year, anything like that. One thing that I had mentioned earlier is the vast majority of entry-level positions are filled from our internship pool, both current and prior interns, and from our part-time employees that are maybe in roles where they started part-time or on a temporary basis and then are hired full-time. So, and I can tell you, this past year, we didn't hire a single person for an entry-level position that didn't come from our internship program. So that's the best way to get your foot in the door at Colony Brands.
I feel like this is a very 2020 question. For the summer internships, is the plan for them to be online or in person?
So right now we are hoping they're in person and we are planning for them to be virtual. So right now we have around 60 interns that are active right now, finishing out the year. The majority of them are virtual, but we do have some are operations, our food scientists, some of those positions that can't be done virtually that are in person. We are ensuring and enforcing social distancing of 6 feet, wearing masks, lots of additional cleaning. So that will be the same for our spring 2021 positions. We have 17 internships for this coming spring. 4 of those will be working on site, 2 are hybrid, a couple of days in the office and the rest are virtual. So summer and fall, we'll see what comes. We've done a lot of work to ensure that our employees are safe when they come in, because that's the only way to ensure that we can continue to operate and make money and stay in business. Mm-hmm. So,
absolutely. Do you have to be a current student to qualify for the internship program? Or, for example, could someone that just graduated do the internship program?
So we do welcome people that have just graduated. The minimum for most of our internships is that somebody will be going into their junior year of study in a 4-year program. We do have a few positions that are open to 2-year students within IT, and there's a maintenance and mechanic internship that require that you're at least 1 full year into that 2-year program. We do look at recent grads as well. We define recent grads as within 2 years of graduation. And the last 5 or 6 years, I'm trying to remember the number, about anywhere from 1/3 to 40% of our students are recent grads that then come and work and do their internship.
Other questions? I guess I have a question for you, Jessica. If somebody had never heard of Colony Brands before, what is the one thing that you would highlight of what you appreciate or enjoy about being a part of that company? Like what would you tell someone?
One thing is really hard. That's a really hard question. the one thing that I personally appreciate in my, I said I've been with the company 5.5 years. I'm still considered a newbie around Colony Brands, right? The one thing that I appreciate across the board is what was represented to me is what I have found working here. So through the recruitment process and the commitment to employees and communities and our customers, I've found in my day-to-day interactions, and that's a really big deal. And that's not always the case, right? People, what you see out in the public is not really what happens within their walls. And I've really found that it is a great place to work where people do care about one another and truly care about our customers and the communities. And the company does a lot to support all of that.
Sorry to put you on the spot with that.
It's okay.
I just really love to hear that from folks that have worked somewhere for a while. Although I also understand how hard that can be to answer that question.
Yeah,
so
yeah, it's a good question.
All right, last call for any questions. All right, just a couple of things to wrap up. I would like to thank first, Jessica, for giving her time today to talk to you all today. Colony Brands is pretty big employer here in our region of the state, and was really happy to get Jessica to come and talk today. I also want to thank Haley Carr from UW Superior Career Services. She has been working with all of the tech and making sure everything is working well. I do want to let you know that you may have noticed that this is being recorded, just like all the other treks are being recorded. And so we do have a website that is set up, and so all the previous treks have been put up there, and ours will be put up there probably early next week. And I'm going to put that website right in the chat for you. And like I said, next week is the next one hosted by UW Green Bay, and that's Acuity. Just again, want to thank you all for coming today. And if you have not done the form that has been put in the chat to record your attendance, be sure you do that, just because we want to make sure we know who all was here. And if no one else has any further questions, have a good rest of your day and good luck with your semester.
Thank you all. Good luck with the rest of your semester.